Thanks to the support as a channel member, Michael Waddington. Boys and girls, if you're watching this video the day it comes out, it is New Year's Eve. Excitement ahoy. What that means is I'm going to be streaming live on Twitch tonight to see in the new year. We can't go out this year. Admittedly, I've not gone out for the last 20 years on New Year's Eve. You can't go out this year, so you're going to be at home. You may as well watch your old pal Kev seeing in the new year, playing some Football Manager. It's twitch.tv/LOLLUJO. I'll be live from probably 10:15, 10:30ish. Once I've got the small people to bed, I will, yeah, that's right. They go to bed early on New Year's Eve. I've got a stream to do. And I'll see you there. We'll see you in the new year. And we'll have a little bit of a New Year's party. A splendid time will be had by all. Hopefully, we'll see lots of you over there. Hello and welcome to Club 2, Part 12 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have two matches for you. One in the league at home against QPR and also in the FA Cup in a replay, fourth round replay at home against Aston Villa. Since you were last with me, you can see from the league table, we have had a little bit of a tumble down the league. It's not gone particularly well. What has gone well, that you're going to see immediately when I hit on the schedule button, what has gone well is the return to Peterborough United of Ricky J. Jones. Goodness me, has it been a return. He came in on loan just before the Middlesbrough game, and he did this. He started on the bench. He's not match fit. He left to go to Everton for £11 million just before I arrived at the club. They sold him to Brighton for £8 million this summer just gone, and he hadn't played for either of them, so he's not played a game of football since leaving Peterborough 2 years ago. He wasn't match fit. We brought him off the bench to play on the left-hand side towards the end of this FA Cup game, and this was pretty much his first touch back in a Peterborough United shirt after all this time. I mean, this boy's quite good. If you're not experienced Ricky J. Jones on FM21, you're in for a treat. This was his first touch back in a Peterborough shirt. That'll do, Ricky. That'll do very nicely. So, of course, what do you do off the back of that? I immediately got on the phone to Brighton and said, you know, this lad we've just taken on loan, how much could we buy him for? They said £4 million. I said, yes, please. We'll have a bit of that. Ricky J. Jones is a Peterborough United player once again in a £4 million deal. He came back in on loan, did that one goal. We signed him immediately, and he's since scored 5 goals from 3 games, playing off of the left wing. I've not even played him up front yet. 5 goals from 3 games on a 7.57. He's still only 21 years old. He's stupidly quick. You've seen what he can do shooting from range. His finishing is excellent. He's 6'1". He's good in the air. He is, I mean, he's perfect. He's perfect. And he's going to be a Premier League footballer in the future as well. It says in here somewhere, or it did on the scout reports, that he's got potential to be a Premier League footballer. I mean, to be fair, if we have a look at his coach report, where is just a normal coach report these days? Currently operating at a championship level. Yeah, all right. But he's going to be a Premier League player. Could improve significantly in the future. It's changed that. He's still showing as having 5-star potential. I don't know why we've got Mark Tyler judging this stuff, actually. Can we not change? Do we have to change it on the recommendations, on the staff responsibility screen now? Rubbish. But yeah, Ricky J. Jones is back. And as you can see, scoring goals for fun. It's not helped us win games. We're still not very good. We're still losing football matches. But at least we've got one of our homegrown players back, and he's having a lovely time. He's not the only player that we brought in as well. And we've also signed Jan Couto on loan until the end of the season from Manchester City. And they actually agreed a permanent transfer of £1 million with us for him, and that he wanted £35,000 a week. He earns £5,000 a week. He wanted £35,000 a week to come and sign for us permanently. So we'll revisit that in the summer. He's good, though. He's a very good right back. We've also signed Malachi Walcott, who I wanted to bring in the summer, but at the time he was injured. So he failed his medical. We just went back in for him again. $225,000 from Tottenham, just as another option for us at centre-back. And then this guy. This is one of those where my director of football said, I want him. I don't really want him, director of football, but I really want him. I cancelled it. He goes back in for him again. We have got a little bit of money left. You're quite insistent that he's the man. Fine, we'll bring him in. And now my director of football is on the naughty step for a year. And I'm going to ignore all of their advice for that time because Dominic Hyam is a waste of a footballer. Sorry if you're watching, Dominic. You're just not good enough for my Peterborough team. As a response to all of that, we also let some players go. Gustav Morgensen didn't get his work permit when work permits came in on the 1st of July. So we had to sell him at a loss because he wasn't able to play for us anymore. And that was what initially sparked the bringing Jones in. So we didn't really have a backup striker. We also sold Fraser Blake Tracy. He's gone to Ipswich for $375,000. He was our captain last year, but now with Devine and Key, we don't really need him. And Deshaun Bernard has gone out on loan to Wimbledon for the season as well because we brought Walcott in and we don't need all of those defenders. So transfer-wise, I think we've had a really good month since the last episode. We've still got money in the bank. We've actually still got transfer money to spend. And we managed to squeeze some more wage budget out of the board by promising not to get relegated, rather than the avoid a relegation battle or whatever it is. We went to the next one up. It got us an extra 30,000 or so wage budget. So we're not going to get relegated. I suspect we also might not get promoted because we are still kind of in free fall. That's after I spent £4 million on a striker who's in hot form. He's won the Championship Player of the Month and we're still in free fall. 5 goals from 3 games, still in free fall. Simon Patton's given up completely. I think he's probably due a little bit of a rest and a little bit of time out of the team because his form has just fallen off a cliff and it has coincided with us not playing very well. I mean, it's still, if it ended there, that's a fantastic first season in English football. He's only 19. But I kind of think my future might be Jones on one side, Patton on the other, with someone else in the middle, and then maybe drop back to a defensive midfielder. We did try it for a few games. As you can see, we were still losing. So I've reverted to what I often revert to. If we're losing anyway, we might as well lose having fun. So we've gone back to this system. We have been training this. We started training this before we signed Jones. The reason we're not doing it is because I don't want to play Jones that deep. I guess we could play him alongside Patton and go Patton and Jones up front and then just do a flat midfield 4. It's there as an option. Not an option I'm particularly keen to use just yet. So for now, we're going to try this for today's game against QPR. If we fail again, we might do a 4-4-2 against Aston Villa, which does go against everything I stand for, really. But we're going with Malden in goal, a back four of Devine, Anderson, Sykes and Jan Couto, McCormick and Taylor in midfield, Jones, Richards and Gooch supporting Patton up front. Let's get into the game. I really want Ricky J. Jones to be as good as he has been in those matches that I've been watching off camera. If you've been watching the Leicester series as well, remember how good Neymar was when he first signed. Yeah, that's right. I'm comparing him to Neymar. Remember how good Neymar was when we first brought him in, where he'd just pick the ball up anywhere and run. That's what Jones has been doing. Give him the ball, let him run, and he just runs everywhere. Look, he's supposed to be playing on the left wing. He just ignores me. He goes where he wants. I'm Ricky J. Jones. I go where I want. I do what I want, and I'll score goals while I'm there. That's his policy, and I'm here for it. It's working. And there is the ball over the top for Jones, who's in behind, just dancing past his player. If we had 11 of them, we'd win the Champions League. He's that good. And we've got Devine now with the long throw, and it's an interesting one because the keeper didn't go for it, but it's ended up with Taylor on the edge of the area, all the way back to Couto. And now Sykes, who's looking for options ahead of him, finds Taylor, who plays it back to Anderson again. And we're just taking our time, waiting for an opportunity to present itself. There is one. Gooch squares it for Jones. And there's Ricky J. Jones again. Number 7 since returning to Peterborough. I thought this was just going to be the story of Patton now for the rest of time and how much of a hero he is. He's the forgotten man because we've got a homegrown hero who's back. And it's an incredible piece of business for the football club anyway. We sold him for £11 million a year and a half ago. We've signed him back for £4 million. He's still only 21. And that's 7 goals now since he's been back. Devine with an in-swinging corner. Anderson's there and it goes just over. I do wonder that maybe Patton's one of those players who wants to be the star man. And if he's not the star man, he's got a bit of a sulk on. Because his drop in form does coincide with Jones arriving and being incredible. Again, look, Jones is the man who's furthest forward on the shoulder of the defenders, playing as the inside forward. And he's picked the ball up and he runs with it because he's so quick. Plays it across to McCormick. Patton's not getting a look in. And I think Patton was really benefiting from having 2 proper wingers playing to create stuff for him. Whereas now the team are very much aiming for Jones and Patton's an afterthought. which if we can figure out how to use Patton as well, maybe it does involve moving him out to the right and having both of them doing the same sort of job. We're going to ruin defenders with these two. McCormick to Devine. Taylor now. Still only 12 minutes on the clock. We've started this very brightly. Ball over the top to Jan Couto. Crosses, looking for Jones. There's his header. There's his second of the game. It's the Ricky J. Jones show, boys and girls, and I am having an excellent time. We were speculating just an episode or two ago that Patton might be the best signing ever in non-Need to Legend. Ricky J. Jones, hold my isotonic sports drink. Here he is. It's 2-0. And yeah, headers now. Just I'll be quick. I'll be good in the air. I'll just what kind of goal do you want next, boss? We haven't done a long range screamer yet today. Shall I do one of those? Do what you want, Ricky. All right, I'm gonna have a go from here. There you go. He's gonna pick it up here and just stick it in the top corner because I mean, if you see, have we got any other players? We don't notice them. I'm over the moon with this because obviously, as you know, I think I've mentioned it in the series once or twice. Peterborough fan in real life. He is our hot young prospect in real life that we're all very excited about anyway in real life. And seeing him do this in Football Manager is stunning. Absolutely stunning. That couple of years getting development time at Premier League clubs might be the making of him. I know there's periods in players' development where they need game time. There's periods where they need good training. And it might even be the wrong way round for Jones, but he was playing games at Posh in League One when he was 17, 18, 19. He's then gone and had a year and a half of intensive training at Premier League clubs without playing any football. He's come back to us in the Championship. I mean, if you look at his past goal record, his final season before he was sold for 11 million quid, he got like 8 goals from 30 games. Now, half of them were substitute appearances, but he wasn't this player when he left. He has turned into this while he's been away. He picks it up deep, just gets his head down, starts to run. That time he is intercepted. He's given the ball away, actually. I mean, even if we concede here, it's obviously not his fault. He's Ricky J. Jones. He can do no wrong. But yeah, he's this is what I've been watching. This is what I've spent the last couple of hours of my life doing. Just watch him do that over and over again. And even when the camera's not on, I'm getting this excited by it because I can't believe how well this signing is going. I thought, oh, there you go. They're going to call me an idiot. I've spent 4 million quid on a player that I just like the look of because I know who he is. It breaks every non-Need to Legend rule. It doesn't really because obviously, yeah, I got excited because I know him from real life. But he came up on the scout report. He was there available to loan. We loaned him and then we bought him after we already knew him. So we did follow all the correct non-Need to Legend protocols. Obviously, as a club, we know about him anyway because we sold him a year and a half ago. It's only natural for us to keep tabs on a young player that we sold. Right, we are going to bring on Keon Etete up front. He actually played a couple of games before Jones arrived and came on as a substitute a couple of times and actually looked quite good. And Jones arriving has kind of pushed him down the pecking order a little bit. What I might do is I'm tempted to try the 4-4-2. But it seems like a bad idea, so we're not going to. We're just going to bring Sammy Schmott. In fact, I said Casey Palmer. I will give Casey Palmer a try in there. I think I've run out of patience with Sammy Schmodix for the time being, which is why we're trying different options as the attacking midfielder. It's kind of the last roll of the dice for the 4-2-3-1 before we just go for the 4-4-2 and stick Jones up front. My worry about sticking him up front is look how well he's playing on the wing. Do we really want to risk ruining it by having him playing as a central striker, which is supposedly his natural position, and him and Patton alongside each other could be a nightmare for defences, or it could just nullify Jones, and as soon as he's out of this ridiculous form, we might not get him back into it. I can't imagine he's going to do this his entire career for us. I think he's just excited to be back and playing football and playing in a position that allows him to have a little bit of freedom to kind of do what he wants. I don't really want to pin him down to say, you are now our centre forward, Ricky J. Jones. So we'll see. I'm undecided. Let me know in the comments what you would do. What are your thoughts on it? It's one of the things we could talk about tonight on Twitch in the New Year's Eve hootenanny that we've got over there. Obviously, we won't be playing this save over there, but we can talk about this save. That's not against the rules. Cross comes over. Malden kind of deals with it. I'd quite like the final whistle to go now. There's 10 minutes left still. But we've conceded a goal here, and this is all too familiar from how we've been on this run. We're not killing off games. And I'm now looking at it thinking, when I brought Palmer on, I really should have brought Lawrence on and gone to the 4-3-3 and just locked the game down, and I didn't. And it might end up costing us. McCormick now coming down the left-hand side does very well to keep hold of the ball, finds Jones. Jones turns, gives it to Taylor. Taylor to Gooch. Gooch shoots and scores, and that should put the game beyond doubt. And it's very nice to have a good game where we're playing well and we're looking like the team that was top of the league again. We're still only 3 points off the top of the table as well. So even after this really rotten run of form, which has taken us through pretty much the whole of December and January, we've played really poorly. It shows how good our start was. And we are still in touching distance, 4 points off the top of the league, in fact, rather than 3. But we're still very much in with a shout for automatic promotion, and definitely in the playoff mix. There's a 7-point gap behind us to our nearest challengers for the playoffs. So we could still have a promotion season. If we can figure out a way to get Patton and Jones playing well together, don't rule it out. Now let's go and play Aston Villa. So just the one change for the Villa game then. I've brought Lawrence in for McCormick. Couple of reasons. Firstly, gives us a little bit more defensive oomph because he is a defensive midfielder who can tackle, but also gives us the flexibility to, at the drop of a hat, just drop to that, except it'd be Lawrence there, Richards there. We can just drop straight back into a more defensive version of the system. We're playing against Premier League opposition. If we go a goal ahead against this slot, I want to have the flexibility to just drop straight back into a 4-3-3 and hold on to it, which doesn't really seem like the traditional Kev way of doing things. But when you're in the kind of poor form we've been in lately, we'll take a win any way we can get one against this kind of opposition. So I'm going to outstretch my arms, tell the boys to carry on the way we played in that last game. It's not unrealistic for us to go out and beat Villa. We're looking for, we're trying to get promoted to the Premier League. They're fighting against relegation from the Premier League. So there's only about 4 spaces actually separating us in the Football League pyramid. So it's not unreasonable, but obviously they're a Premier League side. We're Peterborough. It's going to be tricky. Patton's in there. Patton's score. It's disallowed. Oh, that was a beautiful start. Immediately, batten down the hatches, down to the 4-3-3. But it was not to be. They've got Pedro de la Vega on their left wing, I've just noticed. Hero for one season of the Apollon save last year. Welcome to non-league to legend Pedro de la Vega. You might join us again later in the save. Who knows? Good save from Malden there to deny the Aston Villa attacker, and now they've got a corner. And we need to keep an eye on de la Vega because we know how dangerous he is coming in off that left-hand side. I think he got about 30 goals for my Apollon team playing in that exact position. He's not very happy though because he knows he's playing against his old boss and he doesn't want to ruin my day, which I think is a very sportsman-like attitude from him. He knows what side his bread's buttered. If Villa are going down and we're going up, he wants to impress me. What he doesn't realise is he's got to get past Jones on that left-hand side, so it's probably quite unlikely he's going to get in the team in that position. Villa are attacking. I thought we'd given away a penalty there. Jack Grealish, never heard of him. Wouldn't swap him for Jones, and wouldn't swap him for Jones in £1 million. I got that the wrong way round. I know what I'd mean. What I do mean. I wouldn't take £1 million and Grealish for Jones. £1 million isn't even a lot of money. I think I meant 100 million. We're losing now as well, by the way, which is not ideal. It's from a set piece as well, which we shouldn't really be conceding from set pieces. Yeah. I mean, we got the replay. That was nice. We didn't lose the away leg. This is a big throw from Devine, but there's no one challenging the Villa goalkeeper there, and he just comes and plucks it out of the sky. But we have got the highlight continuing, and we've still got the ball. So maybe there's something more to come from this. Couto playing it across to Devine. I thought was going to give it away, but it's actually found Jones. Jones skips past his man. He's going to try and go past another man, and he's going to have a shot from range. This time, though, doesn't just bury it into the top corner. It's more of a human level of shot, and it goes wide past the base of the far post. And at half-time, 1-0 to Villa. We're not going to be disgusted if we end up losing this game, but it would just be nice to go out and pick up a victory. I wonder if we could go 2 up top. If we bring Palmer on to play on the left, we could take Richards off, stick Palmer on the left, get Jones and Patton up front, and play in a 4-2-4. If this goal goes in here, I don't think I have any other option but to go for that, and it has. And I think we're going to make that change now before it's too late. And try and get back into the game. So if we stick him up there like that, and then swap those two over and bring him on to go there, we know Palmer can be effective from that role. Jones wants to be an advanced forward. Patton also wants to be an advanced forward. Well, he can be are either of them. We'll make Patton the pressing forward. Is there any harm in them both being advanced forwards? They're probably going to get each other's way, aren't they? This is why we can't play them together. Be a pressing forward. Jones has got more goals in him lately. And we're going to go attack him. And this might be how Aston Villa go on to win 4 or 5-0. Or it might be how we get back into the game. This is my first look at Jones playing as a centre forward. He came off the bench on that left wing in his first game. And that's the only position he's played for me so far because he's been playing so well. So he has been a little bit quiet today. Let's see if he can make something happen playing as a centre forward for us. We have got a Tete who can come on the bench if need be. Patton's not having a very nice time at all. Taylor is tiring, so we're going to bring McCormick on in a second. And I've got to decide, Tete is going to come on. Is he going to come on for Patton? Or are we going to stick Patton out onto the right and bring Tete on for Gooch and maybe try that combination with Patton out on the right and see if you can get a little bit more joy out there. I think that's exactly what I'm going to do because Tete can play that role. And then if we bring McCormick on for him, I mean, if we're going to get back into the game, this is how we've got to do it. Command more. Hold on. We need to make sure. Yeah, Patton is the attacking player there. That works. Come on, boys. Let's do a football. We've had one shot on target in the game. That's not good enough. Divine with the long throw, looking for Tete, who is 6'2" and has scored. That's the different dimension that Tete offers for us. And I wonder if the front three we should be using might be Tete as the centre forward, Patton and Jones either side of him in a 4-3-3, give us a bit more defensive stability, bin off the idea of playing an attacking midfielder altogether, stick Lawrence in behind McCormick and Taylor, and bring Tete in to be a target man, or at least a central focal point for the two fast players to run off of. Dare I do it? My two best attacking players, play them out wide. Is that madness? Because I've not actually seen Patton have a good game on the right wing yet. Although theoretically he can play there. All of his goals have come playing as a centre forward. We know Jones can play wide. I don't know if I want to ruin Patton, but then Patton's already ruined himself. He's been in terrible form lately. And we've got a counter-attack on here with the chance to equalise. It's Tete who's in again and grabs his second. He's making my mind up for me. Keon Tete, he's got legs that disconnect and everything. It's 2-2. I wasn't expecting him to come on and be such a difference maker, but it's exactly what he is. I think the mind is made up. We're going with a three-man attack and Tete's going to be the central part of it. Off the back of one performance against Aston Villa. I was toying with the idea of doing it anyway. And now I think we have to do more than toy with it. Let's pump the fists. Let's give the fans something to cheer for. I think we can make one more substitution in the FA Cup, can't we? Who's the tiredest player? Who have we got on the bench? We've got Schmodix. I don't really want to mess up the midfield. Let's get Gaz Key on. There you go. Gaz Key can come on at left back. Just for a little bit more running about energy. Is the only like-for-like swap we had amongst the substitutions, and we didn't really need to change anything tactically. All of a sudden, we're playing pretty well, or at least one element of our attack is Anderson lumps it clear. We should probably drop back to a positive mentality now we've got back into the game. We don't need to go too attacking. We'll see how this highlight pans out first, though. There's no point going positive and then straight back to attacking again if Villa are about to score, which they have. So we can leave it as it is, and maybe Tete can go and grab a hat-trick. Maybe. I wonder if we should try Jones out wide now and shift to this. This is what I'm talking about trying. And do that. And then going forward, Lawrence in there, Taylor in there, and do a 4-3-3. Jones is not playing well today. He's shattered. Jones and Patton, neither of them have turned up. It would be nice for one of them to, show how good they are. They're two of the three players in this squad who are who my team have talked about being able to play in the Premier League. The other one being Jan Couto, who's here on loan. And neither of them have turned up in our game against Premier League opposition, which is a little bit of a worry. Right, Atete plays it out to Palmer. Palmer dances past his man, and he's into the penalty area. He plays it out to Key. Key, full of energy, of course. Can he get a crossover? Cross does come in, and there's Patton, and there's another equaliser. A 25th goal of the season for Simon Patton. He's finally scored, coming in off the right-hand side. That's what we want from him. We want him coming in off the right and grabbing these kind of goals. And it's 3-3, and we are giving Villa a game here. Do I drop Palmer back into the midfield and drop Lawrence back so that we don't concede again? Would that be silly? Again, we're going to wait and see how this highlight pans out. We'll get to half-time and extra time if it's still 3-3, because I kind of want to look to see how that system plays. I'm not going to get to, because Villa have scored again. This probably wasn't the game to experiment with a new tactic, but I think we've kind of stumbled across it regardless. I don't want to see replays. What I want to do now is get into the next league game and try my new look system that I'm inventing on the fly. It's revolutionary. It's called a 4-3-3. We used it last year to get promoted, but I'm inventing it now. Right, where is another equaliser going to come from? Jones hasn't scored yet today. Here he is. He's picked it up deep. He's lumped it forward. That was probably a shot from there. He's got no running left in him. He has run constantly for a month since arriving back in Peterborough. I think we've finally tired him out, and I don't expect much more of him. So I'm actually a little bit worried that we're going to run him into the ground and get him injured today, because we've still got another 15 minutes of this to go. Sykes playing it forward to Couto. Couto looking for options ahead of him, plays it forward, looking for a Tete, but can't find him. And Villa are on the attack again, and they're starting to look like the Premier League team here. And it's 5, and I think that's probably game over. We gave him a good battle, but it does show if we were to go up this season, still don't want to see the replays. If we do go up this season, my word, are we going to have a lot of work to do this summer to make this into a Premier League team? Because like I say, Villa are 19th. They're probably coming down, and we couldn't score against them at their place. We managed to scrape a 0-0 away from home. We've scraped a draw at home, and now they're just scoring for fun against us. And this is a team that are coming, that probably haven't won in 6 months, are about to get relegated. Okay. Maybe we shouldn't get promoted this year. Maybe I shouldn't do my new super tactic until next year when we decide we want to go up. Yeah, point the finger. I can't point the finger and say I'm far from pleased with that result. What is a pointed finger for then? I'll thrash my arms. Seems a little bit of an overreaction against the Premier League team, but it's motivated everybody. They love to see an arm thrash. Well, there we go. Peterborough manager slams team again. Seems a little harsh, but I guess I slammed them. So, remainder of the season, no more cup games getting in the way. I guess we'll come back about halfway through the remaining games, just check in to see how we are. And hopefully we'll have at least some playoffs to come at the end of the season. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.